No way, I forgot my freaking SD card at home and I have to drive all the way home and come back and waste like an hour of my day. Bruh. Nice, rookie mistake. Oh. All right, bro, thanks. All right, we made it back to Borderland, and I do have a good SD card now, thanks to my guy Marky. He actually lives much closer to Borderland than I do, so it saved me like 45 minutes of time having to drive all the way home and all the way back. So thank you, Marky, for giving me a spare SD card to use for the day. But we are here to introduce the new drop, which is the Nicholas and Tilla new Signature Series disc. And I haven't thrown it yet, but from how it feels in my hand, we got a yellow with a red stamp and kind of like a teal blue with like a blue stamp, and I personally like the way that this one looks a little bit more. My first impression was it feels closest to like a razor claw, but it just feels faster. It feels like it's gonna go a little bit further. I've seen very, very little flights of this disc on social. I've been doing my best not to kind of spoil the flight of this for myself, so this is gonna be the first time that I've thrown these discs. I have a couple discs to compare these to. While I'm out here, I brought a brand new Soft Tactic and a brand new S-Line MD5. I'm very comfortable throwing these discs. They are staples in my bag, honestly. I think I'm just gonna throw out in the field a little bit here, kind of check the angle control on them, and then get out on the course and play a couple holes. Try to keep it as short as I can, but just give you guys an understanding of how the drop flies compared to these two other staple Discmania discs. So let's get right into it. Gonna start with just a couple easy shots here just to get the arm moving. By the end of the video, I'll be throwing some full power shots to see how they fly. Just regular Tactic on just a nice flat forehand here. The last one came out on a little bit more hyzer than I wanted, but we got MD5 here. I know I'm gonna need this one flat or even on a little Annie, or it's just gonna dump to the right. Same thing, just gonna throw them nice and flat. See how they kind of react. A little more glidey than the Tactic, I would think. Here's the Tactic. The two drops landed really close to each other within about 10 feet, probably 20 or 30 feet in front of the Tactic. And then the MD5 went another probably 20 feet past the drops. Couple more with the drop here. Put that one on a little bit of Annie. Stabled out nice at the end. Let's try the same thing with this one. Maybe a little more Annie, actually. Let's try. That was so money, actually. Holy crap. So far, just with these couple throws that I've had, the drop seems to have more glide than the Tactic and less bite than the MD5. So just from these small couple throws, it does seem like it's gonna fit a perfect slot in between the Tactic and the MD5, but let's throw some backhands back up the field. It is honestly an absolutely beautiful day right now. I know the sun is like beaming in my face, but it's only like 65 degrees out, maybe pushing 70, but this is just the perfect disc golf weather. I absolutely love it. But Tactic on a nice backhand here, throw it nice and flat, maybe a little Annie. Pretty solid flight out of that one. I'll go MD5 and then I'll go drops. Definitely gonna need some Annie on this one. Oh. And we got a walker. Definitely don't want any decapitations today. A brand new S-Line MD5 is just so overstable, so let's see how these kind of slot in between that on a backhand. Tiny bit of an Anheuser rip. Still a pretty reliable fade at the end, but it does have good glide. I'm gonna put this one on a little bit more Annie. This disc is freaking awesome. Tactic, once again, is the shortest. Both of the drops are within 5 feet of each other, probably another 20 feet past the Tactic. And the MD5 is actually a little bit more over here. A little bit more to the right because I did have to put this one on a bit more anhyzer. But once again, kind of within 50 to 60 feet of each other. So now we're in the woods. I'm on hole 1 of the white to white layout, downhill, probably about 300 feet. And you guys saw the comparisons to the MD5 and the Tactic out in the field. So I think in the woods, I'm just gonna be throwing the drops just to show you guys more flights of just the drop. Normally I wouldn't throw something this overstable because you don't have enough room to kind of flex it down the tunnel. So I hit the gap nice and flat, but towards the end it just kind of bailed out. So just not the disc that I would typically throw on this hole, but I think it still did get me within circle 2. I'm gonna try to put this one on a little bit more Annie, but it's just so tight, there isn't much room there for an Annie. Oh! That one went a little bit further, but I think it still bailed out pretty far left compared to the basket. The blue one got me to about 40 feet maybe. First take, I promise. I would say for the past 6, 7, maybe even 8 years, even before I made my bag pretty much all Discmania, I was throwing the Harp as like my kind of short forehand disc. So I've just been familiar with throwing a mold similar to this for many years now, and this has to be one of my favorite iterations of it. Just the way that it feels in the hand, it's slightly more shallow than a Tactic, and it has just a little bit more glide. And just throwing this Tactic, I forgot how overstable a brand new Tactic is before you beat it in, but these brand new are not dumpy. They're not super overstable, but they do have that reliable fade at the end. I didn't mention it at the beginning of the video. If you made it this far in the video, you obviously care about checking out the flights of the drop, and I'm actually gonna be giving one of these away. So if you wanna enter to win the giveaway, just leave any comment below with a hashtag drop, and I'll choose one of you guys within the next few days. I'm not sure which one of these you'll get. Most likely I'll give up this yellow one just because I like the way this blue one looks a little bit more. But if you want to enter to win one of these drops, just leave a comment with hashtag drop at the end and you'll be entered to win the giveaway. It is actually 10:56 right now and the drop drops in 4 minutes. It drops at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So obviously no way I'm gonna get this video up in time for the drop, but I am gonna go home and edit this video and get it up before I go to my night shift tonight. So grab yourself a drop if there's still even any in stock, because I saw earlier that the Euro store sold out like super fast. So hopefully there's still a big stock on the website so you can grab one of these. And if you can't, just enter the giveaway and you'll be entered to probably win this one. So we're gonna throw a couple more out in the field here, maybe one more hole, and then we're just gonna wrap it up. And I've just been having a blast, honestly, throwing these discs. They are perfect for my game specifically. Tactic backhand to start us here. Definitely got to put it on some Annie. See if I can replicate that with a drop. Okay, not as much Annie as I wanted, but it still glided really far. Maybe I'll do a forehand with the MD5 now. Forehand with the drop. Solid. How's it going? So the MD5 actually ended up being the shortest there. The yellow drop and the Tactic are pretty close, and then the blue drop is probably the furthest by about another 20 feet. But once again, they are all within about 50 feet of each other here. This will probably be the last hole of the video. Gonna throw a nice forehand flat, try to get it up the gap, and then I'm gonna try to throw a really steep anhyzer that kind of pans late and kind of fights its way up the gap. Second shot's gonna be a lot harder for me. Didn't fight as soon as I thought it would. Backhand turnover. Gotta put this one on real steep Annie. That was like the best backhand Annie I've thrown on this hole in years probably. Wow. I don't think I wiped my smile off my face throughout this whole entire video. I'm just ecstatic about these discs, and personally, I like to throw a lot of my throwing putters and even my tactics in the baseline plastic. So if this comes out in baseline plastic over the next couple months, that would just make my heart like so full. Just as a quick comparison to the Tactic and the MD5, they definitely have more glide than both of the Tactic and MD5 and less overstability than both the Tactic and the MD5. You put this out nice and flat, it is not gonna dump hard to the right. You put it on a little bit of Annie, it's gonna hold and then give you that reliable fade at the end. I found with the MD5 and the Tactic, if it just came out flat or even on a little bit of hyzer, just started to dump pretty much right away, whereas this would push a little bit more forward and then dump. But even on those full power shots or on those backhand Annies, it just panned and fought out perfectly to flat. So I got nothing else to say about these. These are one of my favorite drops that Discmania has had lately. And I just think it's hilarious that it's called drop, because I saw a couple people out here and I'm like, oh, I'm filming a video for the new drop. And like people think I'm thinking like the new drop of a disc, a new disc, not the actual name of the disc being dropped. So I just think it's kind of funny. But if you made it this far in the video, I really hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to enter the giveaway to earn yourself this drop. And hopefully the stock on the website is still pretty high, or some of your local retailers have some of these, because you do not want to miss this. This is one of the best drops that I've ever seen Discmania have. It is immediately making my bag as soon as I get home. So hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like on the video, make sure to subscribe. And if you want any Huck Squad merch, drop yourself down into the description and grab yourself some Huck Squad merch. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.